Guys, deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for having me. Now, I spoke about this briefly a few days ago, or I bring out so many videos, you'll have to go and find it. Ivan Gazidis. Now, the rumours in regards to AC Milan, for those who never watched the vid, long story short, AC Milan want him to take over the CEO thing. He's got ties with, I believe, one of the man's on that hedge fund that's taken over AC Milan. One of them has relations or previous knows about Gazidis, and he knows them too. So that started the rumours. It's a hedge fund taking over the club, AC Milan. So long story short, back to this. There was rumours that he wanted to be their CV. They wanted him, sorry, to be their CEO. It looked like just rumours. It looked like it'd stay. You saw whispers coming out of the club allegedly that why would he depart the club? I mean, he's been here for 10 years. He was been a tuss between him and Wenger for power. Wenger's finally bust out. He's now been given a free rein to implement the club in his own image via bringing in these many innovative people, whether it's in medicine, contracts, fitness, whatever, leading the managerial change after Wenger, after 22 years, which was going to be a big one. So he's credit where due. I might not be fond of him for previous missold and half-empty promises, but credit where due, he's delivering. So for him to leave would be a shock. It'd be a shock based on what I've just said, and he's been here for 10 years. And the fact that the minute Arsenal get some sort of stability, we're signing, whether we believe in these players or not, we're addressing areas that need to be improved on the field. Backroom additions are being added. It's looking like catalyst for change and that we might be slightly more competitive next season. To now see him leave and when we've got a bit of stability, just see it effed off, would be a shock. Now, not because I necessarily care about him, I don't believe anyone else could do it. I'd like to. Arsenal's a special club, but I'd like to think there's an equally as innovative man that could step in here because some fans were calling for Ivan Gazidis to go and now they're scared. It doesn't make sense. It would be disastrous because I think of the manager, Unai Emery. Now, as a manager, as someone that's been around as long as he has, he's not naive. He knows changes happen. Same way if you're a player, changes happen at clubs. Random-ish goes down. So I don't think it'll affect him too much. But how would you feel if you're him? The man that interviewed you, the man that said you're the guy and all of these things has now left. Someone else might come in who don't like you, or you might not know what's going on. Or if you felt there was an illusion of stability, you might feel some sort of apprehension about the club now. Obviously, the season's about to start, and we know Ivan Gazidis with in conjunction with Mislintat and obviously Raul Sanye. One identifies targets, one gets it done, and one dots the I's and crosses the T's. To lose him, especially when we've got contracts that need to be sorted out, we need to offload players, it'd just be another problem to add on to. Allegedly, he's going to do it. I mean, apparently it will be announced September the 1st, and what scared me is because I don't necessarily, at first the journalists and the things that were saying it didn't feel creditable, but for those who know, Demarcio, or whatever his name is, the football man that's always on Twitter calling transfers and things like that. His track record's near enough perfect. I know Benzema's been on to him and been questioning that, but his track record's near enough perfect and he's reporting it now. So I don't want to say I'm scared because I don't necessarily care about Ivan Gazidis. Like, I personally can't forget a lot of what's happened. I give a man credit for doing, you guys know I'm a very fair man. If you're doing what you're saying you're doing finally, which he's done, credit where it's due, but I can't forget the last however many years, Bayern Munich level, X, Y, Z. So if you want to leave, you can leave, but it would leave a sour taste to some degree in my mouth because obviously of where the club is currently at the moment. But it is what it is. I mean, it's hedge fund owners at that club. He's been linked with the man Paul Singer, and he knows the members of that hedge fund group as well. At the end of the day, you have to look at it on the flip side. He's been here for 10 years. I mean, whether Arsenal got to the where he promised us or not, he's been here for 10 years. He's lived in London for 10 years or so. He's been at one of the biggest clubs. Maybe it's time to try something new. Milan, different way of going about things, different sort of role. They might make him do slightly different things or better things than he was doing at Arsenal. He might get to start afresh. I mean, Italy and living in Milan's the biggest carrot in it all. I mean, it's a lovely... Sadly, I would never go to Italy for obvious reasons because I'm not on it, but it's a lovely country filled with lovely food and all them things. So you could definitely live in worse places in this world. So it is what it is, man. I mean, it's a chance to add on your CV. You led Arsenal into a new thing, and then you led Milan into a new thing. Now, Milan fans, they want to get back. There's a lot of things wrong with AC Milan as a football club at the moment, as there is with Arsenal. So after getting some stability, do you really want to go to a club where everything's wrong again? Or do you want to just calm yourself down? Only he can answer that. If he goes or stays, I'm not really bothered, people. I'm really not bothered. Like, if I'm bothered for reasons of just to say that man in that position is leaving. Not Ivan Gazidis the person or what he's done. Just the fact of, as objectively as possible, what message does it give out now, sort of thing. And it would be telling because he does have a good relationship with Stan Kroenke. They'd known each other before this Arsenal thing and things like that. So maybe he even gets the blessing to depart the club. So I'm not too sure. Either way, at 53 years of age, having been here for 10 years, I mean, I'd like to think he can retire at any time. But if you look at retirement ages, what is it? What, in 62 or something like that? It will be 78 for my generation. Not me, though. Can't make it somehow. But if he's getting to that age and where he wants to call it a day or try new things, maybe this is one last challenge or one last thing to put on your CV and one last thing to look back at your career and say you've done, really. Or maybe they've offered him money he can't refuse, to which I'm not going to lie, like if they've offered you a contract you can't refuse on top of the carrot of living in Milan or wherever neighbouring cities, or just being in Italy, which again I would never go, but it's a lovely country and a lovely city with lovely people sort of thing. It's a big enough carrot. Allegedly talks happened in London. I'm not too sure, and that does feel a bit sketchy. Again, of course he probably has advisors and agents, people that deal with his terms for him, but to my knowledge currently, right at the time of making this video, he's in Singapore with the rest of the Arsenal people. So if it is with taking a naive approach and not knowing anything, surely it would be hard negotiating to join a new club or get a new job role when you're halfway across the world. In the same way, if someone was to try and buy Lucas Perez right now, it would be very hard because you'd have two options. You either don't do a medical, which is suicide, and we didn't do that for Arteta, or you fly staff to Singapore to get it done, or maybe Arsenal give him permission to leave the club, to which, I mean, he's not Superman. He has to get on a plane and things, which can all be cost delaying and time delaying. So if a man's in Singapore in different time zone and things like that, yes, you can communicate, but surely there's going to be a delay in negotiations, or it can't be as ahead as it is, or maybe the papers are selling stories. I don't know. I'm not in the know. I'm just speculating on what I've seen on Google like you lot, and that's all I do, to be fair. Well, in short, Ivan, if at least if you do leave, and this is essentially a suicide mission because you took out Wenger to take out yourself, essentially. Thanks for finally implementing the changes you did. But if you do stay, I can't say if you do leave, I can't say past this year, the previous years followed before this, I can't say I'm very fond of you, if I'm really honest with you. Like I said, I can give a man credit where due if he's doing his job, but yeah, man, I mean, I'm seeing 4 months at a push of implementing stuff you'd see. You said you would. When did the Emirates open? 2007. For context, 2007, I had cane rolls. So, what's been going on? Either way, man, it is what it is. If he wants to leave, he leaves. If he wants to stay, he stays. We still stay here as a football club, man. I mean, whatever, innit? Guys, deluded, get in a comment, subscribe, and do the rest. I'm out, man. Thank you very much for watching.